Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know all of you like Thunder Dragons, which is one of my favorite decks too, and since the Thunder Dragon deck profile was received really well, I wanted to do kind of a follow-up, since it has been now a week since that deck profile, roughly a week, or at least since I made it and played around with it a little bit. I have a couple of opinions about the deck. I played a whole one local with it, so this is, you know, when you are making a deck, you really have to evaluate like every time anything happens. Anytime you play a tournament is like valuable information. And you really have to change things up if you really want to learn how to play the deck, how to build the deck, and how to proceed, because it's not really good to stay stuck on one specific like list or anything. So today I'm going to take a look at my Thunder Dragon deck list. Now there is a deck profile up on my channel which goes about a little bit more ratios. Today I'm going to specifically go through this deck. It's the same deck profile and talk a little bit about why I think some things are not as good or as good, and talk a little bit about how the tournament went. And yeah, kind of walk you guys through my mindset of building this deck, because I really want the Thunder Dragons to be kind of a project on the channel, to keep working on it for now, because I really think that this deck is very solid and it's gonna be good, even though I went 1-3 with it at locals. Smile. All right, so before we go into the deck and talk about very specific cards, I'm gonna walk you through about my matchup. So this was a local, a 14 participant local, the one that I attend to every week. We had some pretty high profile players like Raphael Neven, Joshua Oasters, and some lower profile like Bruce Wenzel, some highest, stuff for White Joe. And so it's a little bit of a very high, high, low. But yeah, overall, everyone that attended this week was semi-competent and knew what they were doing. We all weren't, not like, a couple of us were playing like some meme decks, haha, which is why my round one opponent was Monarchs. Now, surprisingly, he went first and he just passed. Then I just had like OTK, so that was very nice. Then game two, we both bricked. My hand, non-ironically, was white Dragon Wyverbuster, black Dragon Collapse Serpent, Thunder Dragon Roar. Then Sight. Because it was only after siding that I realized that this guy isn't playing an extra deck. Smile. So that was good. And I had like one other break, like Leviathan or something. Then I top decked Red Fusion and it was nice. And he also bricked. So yeah, that was my round one, which is kind of weird. Round two, I played against Infernobus, which was just the quickest match of my life. Game one, she combos, summons Red Quantum Layer, summons Armageddon Knight, and I just pick up my cards because I do not really have anything to interact with. Game two starts, I just draw my card. It was pretty good. It was like a Hawk, Thunder Dragon Roar, Lure, Ready Fusion. Thunder Dragon Fusion was like, yeah, this is pretty nice. Standby Phase Lancia. She blindsided Lancia, which in my opinion, kind of unfair and kind of ruined the experience. So I guess we just back up, Smile. So that was my second loss, and I think that everything went spiraling down. I think that if I wasn't just blind counter-sided, the tournament could have ended in a very different way. So that was kind of, yeah, just not the best experience. Not gonna lie, I don't want. No, I'm gonna sound a little bit salty about that. But honestly, I kind of am, because it's just not fun to have that happen to you. But whatever. Game two, I play against Joshua Oasters, Phantom Knight, Burning Abyss. And Joshua is exactly the kind of player that I am scared for. A player that mains droplets. And that is exactly what Joshua had 2 games. He had 2 droplets. So game one, I didn't really end that well. I only ended on a Titan and a Hard True Sight set pass, but I did have a pop. So I activated Titan and he chained droplets, and what can we do? Game two, I ended with a way better combo. I ended on like Dragoon, Appaloosa, and Titan, which is kind of insane because my hand was like really good. And I had a side set, and he had droplets again. So yeah, there's really nothing I can do about that. Then game number 3, I played against Despia, which is a very interesting deck because it just keeps floating. He was playing Despia Dark Lord, so he had a lot of big bodies. It was a little bit back and forth. We took it all the way to game 3, but in the end, it was so unfortunate. I did like Allure twice, and at the end of like searching and drawing a couple of cards, I had triple ready fusion in hand, and I was like, why game? Why you give me bad cards? So that was not very nice as well. So in the end, we went 1-3, solid performance. Yeah, it's really good to reflect on, you know, the things that you have some hand in, like the cards that you play, and it's also good to just acknowledge that some losses you just cannot do anything, like the info double loss. But to prevent that from happening in the future, we do have to work on the deck a little bit more, because I'm not just gonna sit here and get Lancia every game. So yeah, let's take a look at the deck real quick. Alright. So yeah, let's just go over the main deck first. I really am happy with the ratios of the Thunder Dragons right now. This card is just inherently so broken. It's just like Thunder Dragon effect, Chaos Space, Search War, blah blah blah. Shuffle them back, add 2 more, pop with Titan. This card is just wild, and not gonna lie. Thunder Dragon Roar at 3 is very nice, and Thunder Dragon Dark at 3 is also really nice. Just a good lineup, I think. I drew double egg in the last game, which was just like very unfortunate. That just sucks to happen, but you have to play 2, so that's a little bit unlucky. I like to double hawk. I liked drawing it occasionally. This was like really the epitome of I want to draw it sometimes. The times that I did have it, it was kind of nice. But in the future, I'm not really sure if I am going to keep playing 2 or if I'm going to go down a little bit to 1. And the Thunder Dragon Duo is just still insane. Just an extender or Chaos Monster, and the turn after, it procs all your effects. It came up multiple times that I really didn't have anything left but Thunder Dragon Fusion. I just added this, summoned this, and then proceeded to win the game from there, because I banished like a Dark and something else. So yeah, the Thunders are all very solid. I'm not really sure about the Hawks yet, though. And then for the normal summons. So I play triple Aloof and double Solar, because I think that for Aloof, you need lesser setup. In order for Solar to work, you do have to have either a Hawk or the Baby Wyverns. But the thing is, what is a little bit iffy with this is if you, for example, have like Chaos Space, then yeah, you can normal summon this, send Thunder Dragon Dark, then Chaos Space for the white. But when you summon the white, you banish Dark, and you don't summon, and you don't banish the black. And if you don't banish the black or the white or any of the other thingies, then you cannot efficiently use Chaos Space and get additional resources. So this kind of counters each other, which is like, I was like, oh yeah, I have this in space, this is insane. But there was no real way to make this live. What was funny though, that if you have this and ready fusion, a 3-card combo, let's go, then you can banish the Kaminari attack and then shuffle that back, which was the only real way to proc this, unless it wasn't like the turn like after or something. So yeah, Aloof was always really good. Whenever I saw this card, I was happy, but I really didn't see it that often, which is weird. But this card is just insane. Just having like this and the Thunder Dragon and having access to every other Thunder Dragon card in your deck is just insane. I really like this card. People Vadered this for some reason, which was kind of insane. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this yet. It's gonna take. We're gonna look into the future a little bit. I'm gonna work on deck lists all night on my stream, which is twitch.tv/Tatsym, where I stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if you wanna come hang out, come pass by, because we're gonna be working on the deck over there. Yeah, it's gonna be like either a more combo version or like a control version with Dimension Shifter, and then this is like way better. Then I played the Levy, which was as a one-off surprisingly good, because you always have Thunder Dragons, so you can always search this, which is nice. And then these two are still insane, just enablers of the deck. Then Artifact Sites and the Gardens. Right, so I do have a couple of things to say about this. So I think that Sight is like super broken, but it's so easy to stop the Titan combo from happening. Just any quick play spells, and it's not good anymore. And like Bell also, this got belled like 2 times, which is like, what? But yeah, and I think that it's so good. It's just weird, right? It does it the end part of this deck, consisting of Titan, Red Eyes, and Sight, is like insane. It's like almost FTK. But it still kind of dies to like droplets, which just sucks. And it's also like not as unfair as what other decks can do right now. So it's a little bit iffy about these cards. I do really like this. What I do think is that if you draw this, which happened a couple of times, or like Red Eyes Fusion, you could just shuffle it back with a Hawk, which is really easy to do and to work towards too. So that was really nice to just refresh your hand and still do that. This gave me games a lot. This was really overperforming, but you know that's Dragoon. That's kind of expected because it's arguably the best card in the game. This was kind of underperforming. Hard through this like twice. One of which was nice, but then I got stopped anyway. I don't know. It just feels a little bit iffy playing this card in the deck. And that's also something that I kind of want to look towards to, or look into. And the Red Eyes Fusion package so far, I think it's gonna stay in at least, or at least since we're gonna play Verte anyway. It's kind of dependent because Verte cannot be a thing when you have Dimension Shifter, and that's a card that I'm kind of leaning towards to. But I'll talk about that a little bit after. Triple Thunder Dagger Fusion. If this card gets belled, your life just ends, which is so stupid. Yeah, I don't know. This every time I had it, it was nice, but it got like belled twice, and that was like turn pass. It was so awful. But overall, cards were open. This card was really nice, except where you draw double, then it really sucks. Then this card was nice, but it drew me into like bad things. It's also kind of weird, right? Because if you play Allure, if you activate Allure, you banish like Dark. Yeah, you can search Roar, but if you then summon the Aloof Lupine, there really isn't a good second target to banish, except Egg. But if you banish Egg, then you cannot summon Egg of Roar, and it gets all like kind of complicated when you have like Allure. I think that Allure is like cool, but it just kind of works against like all the other things, and you can also draw some bad cards, but the card is too good to pass up on, and it's a little bit all over the place. As a consistency card, I do really like it, and it has worked more towards my favor than against. But there have been times where, like, for example, the game where I drew triple Ready Fusion, it was just like, bro, come on. If this were like some good cards, I could have instantly won. But if you activate this and banish Dark, it's like insane. Then the 4 fusions without a second target. I say without a second target because I think that in the future I would like to find some room to play a second target. Because this happened. This actually happened. I drew like 2. Which is like super bad to draw. So maybe I just got 1 Ready Fusion to keep it at least 3 with a second target, or maybe just don't play a second target at all. I do think that this card is insane, but this again, the same as Allure. If you summon this and you banish a Thunder Dragon, then less value of your Aloof. And also the thing is, if you have a Titan, but you don't have this in the grave, this is your only follow-up. This is the only follow-up the deck has. That is also something to pay a little bit more attention to. Because having a Titan is fine, but if it just gets outed, then next turn you just have nothing. And this card is just way better to have. It's way better to summon Titan with this than with the Ready Fusion. What I definitely noticed. Gold Circle is just a random one-off, and that's exactly what it is, just a random one-off, so this can be easily replaced. And Red is for the Redis package. Yeah, that's it from the main deck. For the extra deck, a double Titan was nice. I would have liked to play a second copy. This was perfect. Dragon Dragon came up so many times to link away one of the Chaos Dragons. This came up so many times, it was insane. Really like this. Still don't play the Search spell because no reason for that. Ninkribo came up like once or twice with the Solar. If you play Solar, you have to play this. So yeah, because it's another effect monster. This was kind of nice though, even though like everything I said about Side earlier, it's still cool that you can just search it out. But yeah, if you don't play Side, you don't play this. Verte overperforming. I saw this like 3 times too, which was really funny, but this was also like surprisingly good. IP worked like a charm, the Nightmares worked like a charm, and maybe you would like to play Cerberus because it's just so good. Apolis was someone like twice, I think, early. That was really nice. Oral Sword never came up. This card just never came up for me. Like, so this is definitely a card that can go, because you have so much damage with like these 2 already. It's like so unnecessary to play this as well. The last card was Goddess, which also overperformed surprisingly. This just like removes anybody without any like. This card is so broken. I don't see why not more people play her. Really, really like that card. And so in the side deck is where a couple of other specific cards are going to shine. So yeah, as you saw before, I sided Shifter in. Now what I did for this is whenever I went second, I sided in triple Shifter and either triple Nip or triple Droplet or triple Tintus or whatever. And I just sided out the Chaos Spaces because this counters the Chaos Spaces. And I literally never saw this most broken card in the deck. Never saw it. But I almost sided this in every game, and that's kind of the point of this video where I'm at now. I think that in the near future, I do have a list built by software that focuses a little bit more on hand traps. So that should be a deck profile coming up later, because that's the next list I want to test with more hand traps. Because I feel like the main deck, without like that much interruption, like it can play through a lot with playing all those bricks and like sight, etc. That doesn't really help. And I feel like if you just play like more super impactful hand traps, maybe we could do a little bit more. We have like Gamma maybe as well in the main and the Chaos Ruler, since we have space then, because we don't play all the extra like bullshit. Yeah, that's something to definitely look into. Triple Nip was a really good card. This came in a bunch as well. The Duster and the Twin Twisters just to keep back row in check. Together as the tribute, and then the Pancratops combined with like this and this for 3 cards. The last card was Droplets, which is still a really good card. It is like surprisingly, you could just do Thunder Dragon, add 2, and then just like have more fodder. You can combine this with like Ready Fusion to negate stuff. This card was also really, really nice and really happy. Side deck was really good. Not going to lie, I didn't really miss anything. Everything that was lacking came a little bit more from the main deck or from the extra deck. Then it really came from the side deck. I just didn't see these cards. If I saw this, it would have been game versus like anything. I just didn't see it. So yeah, that's it for what I thought so far of the Thunder Dragon deck list. This is definitely a version 1. It still feels like a version 1, but that only makes sense, right? Because this is kind of the list that we had from the old format, just changed up a little bit. So we have to look at it and reflect a little bit more and learn from it, definitely. And then next time we're gonna be back with a punch, and yeah, get ready for a new deck profile somewhere next week. I'm gonna work on the other deck on my stream, so definitely come tune in there. Links in the description down below. And yeah, if you like content like this, let me know where I walked about the deck a little bit more and tell you guys my findings, etc. Let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys.